All right, everybody. The Town Council meeting of November 12th, 2019 is called to order at 8 p.m. The first thing of order, Mr. Poisson, can you lead us in the invocation of the Pledge of Allegiance?
On this Veterans Day weekend, Heavenly Father, hold our troops in your loving hands. Protect them as they protect us. Bless them and their families for the selfless acts they perform for us in our time of need. We ask this in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? Motion by Mr. Pia, second by Mr. O'Brien. Are there any discussion on the minutes? If not, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. The next thing that I'd like to do is honor somebody, but I want to tell a little story here we just found out from the family. We're going to talk about Sergeant Michael Proudfoot, but the military community, as many of you know, I spent 20 years in the Air Force traveling the world. There's a lot of overlap on people and stories. You know, you go to one base and you go this part of the world, and next thing you know, you'll find out that somebody that was in Korea with you is in North Dakota or wherever. But the Proudfoots are just a small world story. I kept thinking back to about 30 years ago. I was the first sergeant stationed in North Dakota, and this Lieutenant Colonel Proudfoot died. And I wouldn't have thought nothing of it, except I saw his home of record was Stratford. And for those you don't know, I grew up in Stratford. So just now I met the family, and we were in the same chapel at the same time about 30 years ago, because I've been retired 27 years. So it's one of them small world military stories that you kind of hits home for how small the world is. But anyhow, I'm going to read about Mr. Proudfoot, Sergeant Proudfoot, I'm sorry. Sergeant Michael Proudfoot, he's the Army, he's 10th Special Forces Airborne. He entered the service in 2012. He's a Special Forces member, also known as the Green Beret. 2014, he graduated second in his class. He was a communications sergeant from 2014 to 2017, an intelligence sergeant from 2017 to present. He's a SALT team leader 2014 to present, multiple deployments and diplomatic missions, 2 combat tours of Afghanistan. His first tour was 2017 to 2018. He received a Brown Star with Valor, an Army Commendation Medal with Valor. Both of the medals were exceptionally valorous action against an armed enemy, Army Achievement Medal, NATO Award for Service, Joint Service Achievement Medal. On his second tour from 2018 to present, he received a Bronze Star with Valor, Army Commendation Medal with Valor, and both of the above medals for exceptionally valorous action against an armed enemy. What I'd like to do is, this is what Stratford has been about and was talked about yesterday. Many, many people have come, and if you go to the Academy Hill, people have served in all levels. In this gentleman, Sergeant Proudfoot, makes America and specifically Stratford very proud. I'd like to get a round of applause, and I'd like the family to come forward.
These are his parents. He's currently stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. So these are his proud parents, and we thank you and your whole family for everything you've done for our town. And thank you to Perez. Thank you for your service, Perez Palmer. Thank you very much.
Okay, moving down to the mayor's report. The mayor is not feeling well tonight, so we're going to attach her mayor's report to the minutes. We're going to dispense with questions for the mayor since she's not here and go to committee reports. 4.3.1.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept a favorable recommendation from the Public Works Committee special meeting on October 7th, 2019. It was referred to us with favorable recommendation for amount not to exceed $41,000 for the foregoing non-anticipated additional work items 1 through 4 as stated for Bruce Brook improvement.
Seconded by Mr. Hardin. Is there any discussion on this? No discussion. If there's not, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. 4.3.2.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to approve motion 4.3.2 from the Building Needs Committee, forwarded with a favorable recommendation to Tri-State Materials Testing Amendment for Stratford High property.
Is there a second for Mr. Hardin? Is there any discussion? No discussion. We'll call it the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
on the, let's see, the Parks and Rec Committee held a regular meeting on November 7th, and I'd like to make a recommendation that with their referral, we accept bid number 2020-15 for a new pavilion at Juliet Lowe Park from RFJ Associates, doing business as Tomlinson, Hawley, Patterson, Trumbull, Connecticut, in the amount of $94,174.
Second.
Second by Mr. Ticky, was it? Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, we'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0.
I have no report this evening.
Attorney Hodson, no reports. Okay, so we'll move down to 6.2.1. David, can you help us, Councilman Hardin? No, just the top line.
The Stratford Partnership of Youth and Family Services as a town's drug-free community coalition and is eligible to receive this funding to advance its mission to mobilize youth community partners to reduce youth substance abuse and create a safe and healthy drug-free environment, whereas the Youth and Family Services thrive.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Ticky. Is there any discussion?
Chairman,
Yes.
just a thank you to Tammy and Community Services for once again earning the town a grant, especially valuable for the residents and the purpose of a drug-free community. Thank you for bringing these resources to the town.
Yes, Mr. Kadim.
Thank you very much, Chair. Also, Tammy and all the people who work with Tammy, thank you for all the work you do that people can see and people cannot see. Thank you for your tireless work. We love all of you. Thank you.
Is there any other comments? I'd like to close, too, with Tammy's excellent, her whole area. They've been helpful for me both personally and professionally for the last 10 years, and continue the good work, Tammy. Without further ado, call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. 6.2.2.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve a resolution regarding the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Clean Vessel Act program for the operation and maintenance of the Stratford pump-out boat.
Second.
Second by Mr. Pia. Is there any discussion? No discussion. We'll call it the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. 6.2.3. This motion is second by Mr. Pia. Is there any discussion on this? If not, we'll call it the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. Now we have new business, 7.1. Mr. Poisson, are you aware, Sherry, we may need you to come forward, okay? Is there a motion to?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve 7.1.
Okay.
7.1.
Seconded by Mr. Kadim. Sherry, can you come forward? Just explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This project is a renovation project for just the Children's Department at the Stratford Library. And the library has successfully received a grant, applied for and been approved for a state grant for $300,000 toward this grant. The town of Stratford has approved the match to that grant, and the library board has put this motion forth to town council for approval so that the mayor can sign off on it. Any questions?
Is there any questions for Sherry before we? If not, we'll call. Oh, go ahead, Mr. Kadim.
You know, I knew you for years, and you guys do great work at the library. I just want to say thank you so very much for all you do for our community. It just keeps growing and growing, so I'm so happy you guys got this grant. Keep up the good work. I love you guys.
Thank you.
Any other? Mr. Hardin.
I'd like to thank you for all the work that you do. It seems like we're outgrowing the library, and I've had an opportunity along with fellow other council people to tour the library, and you're doing great there. I had a chance to, visit the 3D lounge and make your own little toy and all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that in the near future that will expand the building a little bit to suit the town as the town continues to grow, and and people, decide to come there a little bit more often than normal. So thank you for all of the work that you do, and it doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
There's no further comments. We'll call to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. Mr. Tiki.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to accept the license agreement for Longbrook Park concession as provided.
Is there a second by Mr. Perillo? Any discussion? Yes, Mr. Can.
Through the chair, is there any material changes from the current license agreement?
I am not aware of any.
Oh, I was waiting on you, I guess. All right. Any other questions before we move on? If not, we'll call to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. Mr. Pia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to make a motion to approve item 7.3.2, the Stratford Library Association Board. Item A, be it resolved that Donald Petrimus of Torrey Street be and is hereby appointed a member of the Library Association Board to the seat of Deborah Perm, resigned with a term to expire December 31st, 2020.
Seconded by Mr. Hardin. Is there any discussion? If not, we'll call to vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes yes. Motion passes 10-0. Now, we're doing something a little bit different. Next, as this is really the last full meeting of this council, the next meeting is really ceremonial. So what we decided to do and recommended to me, and I put on the chart, we're going to have some last-minute comments from everybody about this council, but in keeping it to 3 minutes, Mr. Can. Okay. So anyhow, well, when you see the whole place is empty and everybody's sleeping and you're talking into it, then you know it's time to be quiet. I'm going to start with Mrs. Dancho.
So, 2 years have gone by, and I just want to say thank you to everybody here that I've worked with over the past 2 years. As a freshman to not only the council but to politics in general, I've learned a lot, and I've appreciated the mentorship of the people that have served before me, and I've appreciated the the insights that I've received over the past couple years, and also to my new colleagues, my people that came in with me, especially Ron, who's not continuing with us, which we're going to miss dearly. Your seat will always be for you. And that's it. Thank you, everybody. And I think I'm very proud of everything we've accomplished.
Mr. O'Brien, I know Bill never needs no help talking.
Well, I was tempted to pass off my time to Greg, but on second thought, I said no. So actually, I wrote some notes because I didn't want to forget some of this stuff, and a lot of thank yous.
You can take some of my time.
Okay, I'll be quick. Thank you for 2 years of moving the town of Stratford with respect and due diligence on all issues. Thanks to Mayor Hoydick and all of your staff and your responsiveness and cooperation in providing requested info. The staff has been great anytime I had a question and needed help with constituents. Thank you, Mayor and Council Chair Jim Connor, for your leadership and behind-the-scenes work that goes mostly unnoticed, and I know you do a lot, and it's much appreciated. Working together in a nonpartisan manner with mutual respect, it has been an honor and a pleasure to serve with fellow volunteers, not paid. Some people think we get paid. Ron Tickey, Navy vet. Chris Pia, Eagle Scout and Majority Leader. Ken Poisson, Pro Tem. Bill Perillo, fellow Marine. Jim Connor, Navy vet, Council Chair. Laura Dancho, my neighbor to the left. And our only female member.
Air Force, not Navy. The smart guys.
Oh, sorry.
The Air Force is the smart guys,
Sorry.
remember.
That's right. And the Marines are the men's division of the Navy, right? And Laura Dancho, my neighbor to the left, and our only female member who kept the 9 guys in check.
I did.
And Walt, Greg, and Dave from the other side of the political aisle. But looking back over the past 2 years, we have passed 3 budgets, including R2 that reduced taxes. Not much, say the complainers, ignoring the fact that we had a long cycle of tax increases. Our grand list is growing and economic development is taking off. Again, dispelling this negativity of those who say otherwise. Two Roads Brewery has expanded with the addition of Area 2. New businesses, to name a handful, include Athletic Brewing, Seabus, Little Pub, Oronoke, Brick Box. Coming soon, we will be the City Street development alongside the Dock Shopping Center, Amazon on Long Beach Road, development of the mobile chemical property. Also naming just a handful, improvements to Route 110, Exit 32, Stratford Avenue, and the Exit 33 interchange are projects that will benefit all areas of our town. And I want to mention, too, something that's in the mayor's report, update on the Stratford Army engine plant. The plan for the environmental restoration of the tidal flats will be unveiled on December 10th at a public meeting, so there is movement on that also. And that's exciting news because everybody's always saying, how about the Army engine plant? And then the EPA multi-million-dollar cleanup of asbestos and contract plating is another milestone as Stratford moves forward. And in closing, farewell, Wally. It's been a good 2 years getting to know you better. And farewell, Ron Tickey, the hardest working member of this council. The real loser in this election was your district. And your successor will be hard-pressed to match your dedication and commitment to the district and to the town, and I hope we'll see you back in, 2021? Thanks all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Mr. Perillo, I know you don't need no questions about getting over too long-winded.
Right. I want to thank getting to know this council, seeing them work firsthand, and behind the scenes, you really see how hard everybody works. We've worked together. We've only respected each other. I want to thank the leadership of the council, the mayor and her team and her leadership that's helped us accomplish what we've accomplished. Just want to add to Ron Tickey, I got to work a few committees with Ron, and I've never met him before we were elected, but you got a friend forever. Good luck, man.
Mr. Poisson.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank everybody for the last 2 years. I think we've done a great job of trying to move Stratford forward and make Stratford a better place to live, work, or play. We're all up here just as individuals and as a team. We try to do the best we can. We have to make some hard decisions. Some people are going to like them, some people are not going to like them, and that's what life's all about. I think we've made some very good decisions, and we're moving Stratford in the right direction. I always say that people should get more involved. Everybody always says that every 2 years. I try to say it every day. Get more involved in your town. If you don't vote, don't complain. If you're not going to get involved, don't complain. If you think you can do a better job, run for office. Thank you very much.
Mr. Can. Remember, I'm going to be 65 in about 6 weeks. I don't want to be up here and need special treatment, you know.
It's been a very productive 2 years. I'm very grateful that we've avoided tax increases. I want to recognize the value of a positive mindset, that if you have that positive can-do mentality, it can become self-fulfilling. And I know that's what the mayor and this council have tried to bring to the town. I do worry sometimes about an unvetted enthusiasm. It's not, when someone has a constructive criticism, it's not, quote, negative. It doesn't mean that you have to pack your bags and leave the town. It means there's a rational view that if the town's growing by 2%, but it needs to grow by 4%, you don't discount the steps forward that got you to the 2%, but never lose sight of what continuous improvement or what innovations that you need to apply to actually get to where you thought you needed to be. And if 4 is where we need to be and we're getting to 2, saying that we need to be at 4 is not negative. It's just saying 2 is great, but it's only half of where we need to go. Small steps are positive and they can build momentum. And we've got a lot of momentum. Infrastructure investments are key. The best part of the last 2 years is that from exit 32 to exit 33, other parts of the sewer treatment plant, the water, everything is getting done, which will make businesses and residents just happier to increase their investment in our town. So I want to thank all of you for making the 2 years constructive and productive, actually moving the town forward. Wally, Ron, I'm sincerely going to miss both of you. I would ask the other members of the council that let's try to have a little more dialogue during the council meetings. I don't have the benefit of sitting in the caucuses, so the playbook, I don't get a copy of. So if I ask questions or if I try to add value to the meetings, it's because, I'm not part of all that pre-work that you guys have been doing in preparation for the meeting. So I think it would help myself, it would help the public, that if we had a little more dialogue around why we do certain things, that there may be an appreciation, understanding of why it's the right thing to do. Thank you all again, and I yield my time.
Mr. Hardin.
Well said, Greg. Well done, our fellow council members. This has been a, awesome 2 years to sit on the council. And, some people say, that we have a thankless job. And I actually do a lot of thinking about this job and what the next step is for this town. And truly, the fellow council people that worked this last 2 years are surely a great demonstration about the town moving forward. There are some points and times where we disagree, but at the end of the day, everything comes out and we press forward. Truly, Jim, I'd like to thank you for your leadership here in the council and keeping me under control and Greg under control and some of the other ones of us that needed it. And, having a great deal of respect for our ideas and input and including us in that, and the information to move forward with the town. Wally, I wish you the best. And Ron, I wish you the best. I hope you guys don't lose contact with us, and I hope to see you at town functions. And I'm looking forward to the next 2 years. I wish everybody the best. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. That was 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Mr. Kadim.
Thank you very much. First, I would like to say thank you to all of you for what you did with the town and for the town, giving your 2 years of your life to try to make our community a better community. So I just want to say thank you firstly to all of you. I love all of you. Thank you. Also, I would like to thank the Democratic Party who put me forth 4 years ago, thought of me, recognized that I cared about my community through working with Stratford Rec for many years, working with the South Community for many years, and also with my own company, Help the Children Foundation. And I've been serving the town long before I got on the council, so I love this town. I love all the people here. And I want to say thank you to the mayor. She's been doing the best thing she can do for the town. I like the work she's been doing. I'm thankful for her and her staff, as well as our chair, Mr. Connor, great guy. I knew him long before the council, great man. Mr. O'Brien, I knew you for many, many years. I love you, always have. And most of you I all knew through town. All of you I've known throughout the town prior to even being any political position I ever had. So I love all you. I just met Mrs. Dancho. She's a great lady. You did a great job. I enjoyed knowing you and your family. Thank you so very much. And the young lady who took over the seat, Margot, you really helped me a lot, because sometimes I would be busy doing different things, and you would reach out to me and say, someone called, and everything you've done was top notch. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. The lawyers who stepped in and did their job, they opened my eyes to a lot of things that I couldn't see. So I love all you guys. I'm telling you, I mean, unless you sit in this seat and have the privilege of knowing what's going on behind the scenes, you really don't know what the town do. And if you have an opportunity, you really should run for the seat if you really want to know more. But it's very important to be involved in your town. All the mayor's staff, the new people that I've met, the people that was here for the past 4 years I've been here, I want to say thank you for your time, listening to me. The gentleman who served and the ladies who served in my last seat before I got this seat, one of them are here now. So, you know, these guys really did good work leading up to now. I know this is a long-winded situation, but I'm going to leave with this. I was driving home with my son last night, and he said, hey, Pop, he said, you know, you have Republicans, Democrat. He said, how about we just don't focus on what party you are and just try to do what's right for the town. So if something is broke, let's fix it. Something needs to get done, let's get done. So I'm going to leave with that energy. It's more about serving the community than it's about serving the party. It's always about trying to do what's right in the sight of goodness and righteousness. So I love all of you, and I'm thinking I'm going to miss my brothers, and I know I can see y'all easy because we all live in the same town. So thank you for your time, and thank you for this moment.
Thank you, Mr. Kadim. Ron?
All right, I'd just like to start out with thanking District 2 for giving me the opportunity to represent them. I enjoyed every minute. I'm sad, but I wish Caitlin Shake all the best and goodwill for her. I hope she succeeds in the seat. I've made a lot of new friends, all the way from the attorneys to the table, the group behind me, the mayor. It's been a very enjoyable experience, and we'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Pia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to first start off by simply saying and thanking all the veterans because we wouldn't be able to conduct the business in the way that we do in this country today, especially in the town of Stratford, without them. And I think at the end of the day, we as Americans always need to come back to that. To Ken's point, I couldn't agree with him more. I've always said to people, if you don't vote, you don't have the right to complain. And if you do see something in your town that you don't like, get involved. I don't care who you vote for, as long as you vote. And I've said that forever. So I'll continue with that. Jim, Mr. Chairman, excellent job the last 2 years. Thank you for everything. You know, coming in, as Ms. Dancho said, as having never gone into politics before and just wanting to do the right thing, which is what all 10 of us did 2 years ago in running. I firmly believe that we've shown that over the last 2 years with this council. The two words that have consistently popped in my mind and I've been proud of to say is professionalism and efficiency, and I believe that's what we've shown. We were not up here to be about ourselves. We were up here to do the right thing for the town, and that's what we've done. To the mayor, I know she's not feeling well tonight, but Laura, thank you very much for everything. You've been an amazing, as my mind, coming from the private sector, a chief executive officer, and I look forward to continue to working with her for the next 2 years, and God willing, more than that. Margot, we love you. Good job. She's our rock behind, and she doesn't get a lot of recognition, but Margot does an excellent job, and looking forward to continuing with you. To everybody else, as you keep getting referred to as the back table, thank you, gentlemen. Town attorneys in the pit, thank you, guys. You keep us out of the crosshairs of anything bad. But to everybody, Laura, Bill, Ken, Jim, Greg, what's your name again? Dave? Wally and Ron, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've all gained new friendships. And to Ron, to Wally, best of luck to the both of you. Honestly, it's been a wonderful thing. And I'm looking forward to continuing on over the next couple of years, and I'd like to thank everyone in the 1st District for re-electing me, and I promise I'll continue to give it my all. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to close with me, and then we're going to adjourn. So, you know, the advantage or disadvantage, there's only one person even close to me, and he's to my left, is Mr. Poisson. This is, for those of you who don't know, it's the end of my 8th year on the council. And that is a long time. There's really, I can tell you, there's only less than 2 or 3 people in town alive today that have done this. So I've seen good councils and I've seen not so good councils, but I sincerely mean this. Regardless of what anybody says, the ball got moved forward. Business and government is hard. Everybody in the cheap seats, kind of like for those of you referees or game, everybody can tell Tom Brady what he did wrong on Monday morning, right? But it's hard to beat Tom Brady on Sunday. It's the same thing here. It's very easy for people to sit back and throw rocks and say, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, and it goes on both sides. I've listened to this game for, again, 8 years, and it takes a lot to come here every day for free, by the way. I had one gentleman call me up for my first term, and he told me he paid taxes and paid my salary. I said, you don't pay my salary. He said, I pay taxes. And I said, finally got to the point, I says, I don't get nothing for this. And then he asked me, I hear this pause, and he says, why would you do that? And I've asked myself that many times, and I'm sure people have here too. You have to really want to do it and make an improvement. It's just not easy work. And anybody thinks that you're going to reduce the taxes by $5 million, or you're going to have services the same for the cost, and it always goes back to services versus taxes versus, you know, you hear this thing, but they want everything done, but they don't want to pay for taxes. And the reality is we have 100 firemen, we have 100 police officers, we have 100 public works, we have a very active force here that supports the town, and it costs money. So that's my thought here for today. And everybody here, Wally, I know I'm going to see you around. Greg's not going nowhere. Dave's not going nowhere. Ron and I go back 20 years. Chris, Laura, I only met Laura one time. I'll tell you, she might not remember this. I sat with her at Doc Gunther's going away party, her and her husband, and that was the first time I met her. Bill, we go back a long time. Billy Perillo, same thing, and Ken's been with me for the last 6 years. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody, and I'm going to look for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Pia, seconded by Mr. Ticky. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion